The Sunup convenience store scenario is an EOQ problem. You can tell by the information that's being volunteered. The Sunup convenience store is open 365 days a year. Nope, that doesn't make it an EOQ problem. But Sunup sells 25 bottles of electric energy drink each day. Oh, sounds like a useful parameter. That would be lowercase d, daily demand. If they're selling that, right, that's the demand for it. Each day, lowercase d, all right. It costs $8 for Sunup to order electric energy drink, regardless of the size of the order. Classic EOQ, capital S for fixed cost associated with this inventory item. Doesn't matter whether you order a lot or a little, it's always $8. The distributor of electric energy drink sells electric energy to Sunup for 25 cents a bottle. Okay, now that's interesting. Unit cost, I'm just sort of making a note of that, is 25 cents. And the distributor delivers electric energy exactly 3 days after Sunup places an order. Lead time equals 3. That's what that is. If Sunup were to hold 1 bottle of electric energy drink in inventory for 1 year, it would cost Sunup 4 times or 400% of the bottle's cost. Oh, 1 unit held for 1 year, the cost of that is capital H in the EOQ model. And what they're saying is that is 4 times the unit spot, the bottle's cost. Oh, that's what we need the 25 cents for. Revealing that it costs $1 to hold 1 bottle of electric energy drink in inventory for 1 year. Okay, now what's asked? What order size minimizes Sunup's cost, and what is the total cost of that order size? This is an EOQ problem. You may have seen that right away and said, all right, EOQ is 2 times D times S divided by H, and it looks like we've collected everything that we need. So we start filling in that formula and we say 2 times. Now, you might have said 2 times 25 and not really gotten the answers that you wanted to from this. One of the things that we have to remember about the EOQ formula is the capital D is always annual demand, annual. We were told something about demand, and I wrote it down. I said lowercase d, daily demand is 25 bottles. Oh, so what are we supposed to put here? They didn't say anything about annual demand. Well, they did say that there was 365 days in their year. Oh, okay, so if they need 25 each day, the 25 I wrote in ink is not strictly wrong as long as I remember to also put 365, which works out to be like 9,000 some odd. That right there is actually D. Now the rest of it, right, times 8 divided by 1, I get basically 382. You need a round number? Oh, okay. So in order to minimize their combined ordering and holding costs, Sunup should order these cola or energy drinks 382 at a time. It also asks what's the total cost of this policy. Oh, all right, now Q equal 382. That's what we just decided. Q equal 382. We're keeping that. Now it's time to calculate the total cost of that policy. That is D divided by Q times S plus Q divided by 2 times H. Oh, all right, now we just fill this in again. Now, the 25 times 365, that's our D. That actually is, you can check me on this, 9,125, right? That right there. That is what D is. Divided by, we've decided that Q is 382 times 8, because that's our S, plus 382 divided by 2 times H, which is just 1. So we get something like 191.1 plus 191 equals something like 382.1. So something that's kind of cute about this problem, but it's a coincidence, is did you notice that the order size and the order cost are practically identical? The only reason that they aren't absolutely identical is just because I rounded a bit. in the case of the order size, because there's no point in recommending a decimal number of bottles of energy drink. Which is the only reason that these two halves of the total cost formula didn't balance absolutely perfectly, because balancing is something that we expect to see when you plug in the EOQ as the Q. But anyway, we answered the question. There's the amount, there's the cost. What else do they want to know? Using the order size that minimizes SunUp's total cost. Okay, so using Q equal 382, basically, how many bottles of electric energy drink on average will be in inventory? Average inventory, we actually did calculate it before. We just didn't recognize it separately. Average inventory is Q divided by 2, and it's right there in the total cost formula. So the only thing that we need to do is just take the order size that minimizes their cost, the 382, divided by 2, 191. So 191 bottles will be at the SunUp convenience store on average if they use this policy. What else do we need to know? Using the minimum cost order size, so again, that is Q equal 382, that's what we've determined. How frequently will SunUp order electric energy drink? You know, we figured that out also. The number of orders a year is right there, D divided by Q. D divided by Q equals, what is that, 9,125, the 25 times 365, divided by 382. I get pretty frequently 23.89 times a year. Because that's what D divided by Q tells you, is the number of orders a year. All right, so out of the entire year, they're going to be ordering 23, nearly 24 times during the year, which is pretty much works out to be about every 2 weeks. But fine, there's their frequency of ordering. What else do they want to know? When should SunUp order electric energy drink? When? The question is when. The answer to when is the reorder point. How are we supposed to find the reorder point for SunUp convenience store? The reorder point is essentially demand during lead time, because that's when you'd want to order, when you had enough energy drink left in stock to last you while you wait for the new order to arrive. Which means that would be, demand during lead time, daily demand times the length of the lead time. It's really just logic in this particular case. And we were actually told exactly what daily demand was. It was 25, and weren't we told that the lead time was 3? We noticed that, exactly 3 days. So if you say 25 times 3, you get 75. That is the answer. Their reorder point should be 75 bottles, or to answer more formally, when should SunUp order? SunUp should order when they're down to their last 75 bottles in stock. That's the reorder point. Okay. Last question. Now suppose that the electric energy drink distributor has just made SunUp an offer. If SunUp orders at least 1,000 bottles at a time, the distributor will charge only 22 cents a bottle. Remember from the original scenario, they're charging 25 right now. They're charging 25 right now, and we've determined that SunUp should be ordering 382 at a time, based on that information. And now this new thing comes along that if they order at least 1,000, then the unit price will be knocked down to 22 cents. What should they do? Well, technically this is a price break problem now. Technically in a price break problem, the first step is that you determined the EOQ for each one of the prices. And you're probably thinking, well, the EOQ, 2 times D times S divided by H, I don't see unit cost or unit price in there anywhere. And the answer is no, not directly, except that it's generally embedded in H. Oh, right, because where did we originally use that fact that each bottle cost 25 cents? When we were figuring out what H must be, because H would be 4 times 25 cents. And that means that if the 25 cents changed, then H would change, which means that the recommended order size would change. Now technically we're supposed to use that formula several times. Only one answer will be valid. We then search for the valid one, like the keeper. We don't have to do that actually for this particular scenario because we already know who the valid one is. We were just staring at it. The EOQ associated with 25-cent price is valid because 382 is below 1,000, and that would make sense. If you ordered 382, that is exactly what you would be charged, 25 cents per bottle. Oh, so what this means is that might be the answer. It was strictly the answer for a fact when there was only one price. We knew that you'd want to order 382. Now we might still want to do that, but we have to check it against one other thing. We don't have to try to figure out if there's an EOQ associated with 22. We just know actually it's not going to work. Although you can check me on that, you'll see, right? We do need to check one last place, and that's the price break quantity. Because maybe we want to keep the valid EOQ, which in our case is the old one, right? Or maybe we want to know what's a price break quantity. That's an important concept. A price break quantity is an amount that you order to just barely qualify for a discount. So what the vendor said was that you would get the lower price if you order 1,000 or more bottles. And so we say, fine, we're going to order exactly 1,000 bottles. That's the price break quantity. So at this point, we now know that the answer is either one of those two things. How are we going to determine which one? It's all based on cost. Which one does the cost work out the best? Here, though, we have to be careful. Total cost looks a little different than it has in the past. The total cost of, for instance, we're just going to test them one against the other. Ordering at 382. Well, you would still say D divided by Q, which is 9125 divided by 382 times 8. That's the ordering cost. You would still say Q divided by 2. So that's 382 divided by 2 times the holding cost, or H, the cost of one unit in inventory for a year, which would be, how was that calculated? 4 times the price, right? That was our H. You say, yeah, well, wait a minute, we did that before, and that's where you get the 382 back. Yes, true. This time, though, and only this time, since we're talking about a discount for volume, we need to include the purchase cost, which means we need to include the fact that you are going to buy 925 of these, and if you buy them 382 at a time, they are going to cost 25 cents each. So, only here, purchase cost. Oh, all right. Well, I did that, and I got that this whole amount then comes out to be, ooh, we need a better pen. Comes out to be a grand total of like 2,663.35. The total relevant cost of ordering them 382 at a time, which is mostly the purchasing cost. Because this business here about the ordering cost and the holding cost is still only working out to be like $300 some odd. But you say, no, wait a minute, wait. We did this before we had an answer. Now you're saying we do it again, but this time we include the purchasing cost. Why? Oh, well, the first time that we did this in your classic EOQ formula, there's no discounts for volume, right? Oh, that means it does not matter how much you order. It's always going to be the same unit cost. So it's not really relevant to the decision then, because you could order 5 or 382 or 1,000 and still be charged 25 cents a bottle. Now it matters. Now it matters whether you order at least 382 or 1,000 because the price of the bottle is going to change. So now it gets included. Now, we're still trying to pick between these two. So we've got to test the other one. Total cost, Q equal 1,000. We'll just repeat this formula. Still 9125 is our D divided by, we're testing an order size of 1,000, but it's still times 8. That's the ordering cost. 1,000 divided by 2 is the average inventory, times 4 times the unit price. Basically, H in this scenario is 88 cents instead of $1. But anyway, plus the purchasing cost, 9125 times, careful, 22 cents. That was the whole point of ordering them 1,000 at a time. So I summed that up and I get 2,520.5. You say, okay. Now we can answer the question, because the question is just how much should we order? And the winner is whoever's lower. And I see that Q equals 1,000 is lower. It is less expensive. It becomes our recommendation at that point. Now you might be thinking, well, isn't that kind of obvious because it's the lowest price, right? Why did we have to test the 382? You have to test the 382. Sometimes your answer comes from an EOQ. Sometimes it comes from a price break. The best thing to do is to just step through these steps, check each one of them, and the one with the lowest cost, that's your winner. That's the recommendation.